So transformation is our potential minus our beliefs. Sorry, our beliefs minus our fears. That was the most profound realisation. So I want to, as we come to a close, as we bring our session to an end, I want to share with you a couple of things in terms of tools, things that can help you on a journey of transformation and change. And the first thing I want to share with you is how do we stay connected? How do we stay connected to this, I'm going to say, how do you stay connected to your heart? That sounds a bit strange, doesn't it? It's inside of your chest cavity. It's been beating. It's going to continue beating, hopefully, for another 100 years. Give me, you're only 25. So, 20? 25. Okay. 25 for the second.
25 is good.
That's right. Yeah. So, let's talk about staying connected. The first thing I recommend to people, if you want to start to get to a level of what am I creating? What is being created within me? Then we start to understand what is it that I'm feeling connected to. So when you're feeling your fear, when you're getting drowned in your fear, then yes, as Neil Donald Walsh says, yes, that's what you're going to experience, and you're going to continue to experience a lot of that. And so in meditation, we teach people to start to observe the cause of their thoughts. Yeah, we talk about observing the cause of your emotions. Because when you start to observe things, what do you think happens? When you start to observe things, what do you think happens?
You get better at defining it?
You do get better, absolutely. What else do you think happens to them? They change. They change. The more you observe something, the more it actually changes. It's really, really interesting. The more you observe something, the more it changes. So when you start to observe any negative feelings, the more you observe it, the more it starts to change. So I call it daily energy investments. If you write down a formula of 100%, you wake up in the morning, let's say you've got 100% of your energy to spend in a given day. And my challenge to you, my question to you is, how much energy do you want to spend on things that are more doing related than being related? So you think about that list that you created at the start of today. How much time do you want to spend out of 100% in your given day, any given day? How much do you want to spend on the doing or the being?
100% on the being.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Now, that may not be physically real right now, but what we want to do is make a commitment that that is the goal that we want to work towards. And then we start talking, then once we've made that commitment, we can then say, well, I'm currently at, say, 20%, and I want to get to 80%, therefore that's what I'm going to focus my time on. Now, you will focus your time, you will create it because you believe it, because you are being it. So daily energy investments, make a formula, 100%. How am I going to, it's like money in a bank account. How much money am I going to put into this energetic bank account? Well, today I'm going to put 20% into marriage number 1. I'm going to put 20% into the fear I had last week about an email I sent out. I'm going to put 10% into worrying about who's going to turn up to class tonight. I'm going to put 10% into the meeting I've got to have at 10:30. I'll put, it doesn't make sense, does it? That's bloody exhausting. So my question is, what are you investing in? Because if you want to make some investments, why don't you say, at 10:30, I'm going to sit down for 10 minutes, give myself a break and meditate. I'm going to put some energy into that. And I'm going to turn up to Kim's beautiful yoga class at 7:30 on a Wednesday night. I'm going to put some energy into that. But whatever you want to put energy into, that's what you want to make a statement of. So that statement in the morning of an energy investment is what you're going to create. Mindfulness to our emotions, what am I creating now? So when you feel some anxiety coming on, when you feel yourself getting disconnected, that's your heart communicating to you. It's saying, it's like a GPS unit. I call it GPS of the soul. It's telling you, am I moving away from things that make me who I am, or am I moving towards them? So when you feel fear, when you feel anxiety, when you feel bad, this is good. This is good. You're getting a truth signal that you should maybe stop and reflect. What am I creating now? Because if I keep on feeling this way, there's going to be an outcome. And it's probably going to be the opposite of what I really desire. Does that make sense? So the mental reflection is, what am I creating now? One example of that in play, I saw one person I coached put a diary note in their calendar a couple of times a day. Just the note was, what am I creating now? And that was just a check-in point with yourself. To ask yourself at 10 in the morning and at 3 in the afternoon, what am I creating? Well, if you think back onto the previous 3 or 4 hours and you think about what it is you've been feeling, that is exactly what you've been creating. Because you're creating tomorrow. You created tomorrow yesterday based on what you were feeling at that point, and you're creating it again today. Reflection for transformation. How does this belief serve my highest purpose? So, one of the processes of change is being honest with yourself, and I've mentioned that a few times today. And the tool here is if you ask yourself the question, the belief that I currently have right now, how does that actually work for me? This is sort of Dr. Phil stuff, I must admit. How does that work for you? Yeah? Dr. Phil, how does that work? How's that working for you? How does that belief work for you? Is it really going to bring you towards what you desire? Is it going to bring you to some doing? Or is it just going to recreate, is it going to bring you towards the being, or is it just going to recreate more doing? So the reflection here, and this is actually a meditation in itself. I have a particular belief. I don't know if it's going to work for me. Well, what am I meditating into it? When I put my hand over my heart, breathe into it, and ask my heart, what do you want me to know about that belief? I guarantee it's going to say one thing. It's going to tell you the truth. And then it's up to you and your own free will as to whether you want to listen to that. The hardest thing is to admit that maybe I'm doing something that doesn't work for me. Yeah. It's the hardest thing. But once we do it, boy, life changes real quick. Real quick.